Greetings and salutations, my fellow Illumineers. It is me, your boy JDZ, and I am back at you again with another stream, another LCCC on a Monday morning, and we are active. But as always, I'm never going to be alone. With me today, I have back at it again, my good friend, Color is Law. Talk to him, Color. We have returned for some more LCC. How you feeling this morning?
I'm good. I am in a different time zone, so I messed that up. So that's
Hey,
super
you know
fun.
what? Don't. We're not gonna bring attention to that, okay, Color. We're not gonna talk about that. We're gonna
Oh,
keep
okay.
it light. We're gonna pretend nothing ever happened. But seriously, this is gonna. It's always gonna be great to be here with you. I'm glad we're just a little bit behind. The players are ready, so we're gonna kind of get right into the action. But I just want to quickly update you guys. So what is happening with the LCC? Here is the current standings right now. We are currently in the final game, the final match of round number one. We have Luke Vonderland versus Speci Curley. So really fast, Color. We're going to go through these deck lists and do a super quick breakdown, and we can talk more about the players as it is going through. We are a little bit behind the eight ball, but really quick, you guys know who Joe Speci Curley is. EU DLC broadcaster, phenomenal player. I think he kind of puts the in there, but he kind of undersells himself a bit. He has a great mind for trading card games, a great mind for Disney Lorcana. He's always going to come with some unique and spicy deck. Color, quickly tell me about Curley as we're going to hop into this game.
Yeah, this is Joe. I actually one of my favorite stories that I have was I was talking to Kim at Ink Inc. and I have always wondered about Joe because I definitely, he does so much for the game and he's a brilliant caster and everything. So I was like, like that never meet your heroes kind of thing. So I was asking Kimberly Evan about him and I was like, well, like how is he in person? Like what's he like? And she's from Ireland. She's got like this beautiful accent, but at the same time it was loud. We're at the tournament and she goes, yeah, he's sound. But I thought she said, oh, he sucks. And she just looked
Ah,
at me with a straight face, and I was like, "Oh, no." And she was
no.
like, "What?" And I was like, "He," and she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, so there was this like moment of just absolute confusion where both of us were just sitting here staring at each other. And I was like, "He sucks." And she goes, "Oh my God, no, he's amazing." I was like,
Nice.
"Oh, okay." So yeah, and then I finally got to meet him in Milwaukee, and turns out he is amazing, super great deck builder, very like brings the spice, and I'm excited to see his deck today. So
Absolutely. He's got some heat, and we are going to go more into these decks in detail a little bit later on. But we have Luke Vonderland, a good friend of both of ours, owner, operator of the ICL, one of the admins there, a great friend of mine. He's taught me a lot about this game. I've learned a lot from him. He is just a phenomenal person, great dad, great human being all around. Luke is going to be probably trying to keep that lead for the North American team. So his hands are going to be incredibly full in this matchup going up against one of the spiciest deck builders around. But we're both great friends with Luke. I'm going to bring these deck lists up in between rounds, but the players are ready and they've already done their altars and everything. So I want you guys to be kind of shocked and surprised when you see these decks that both players are playing. So we're going to hop right into the game. Color, are you ready to do this? We are a little bit behind.
oh yeah, I'm ready.
All right, so here it is. We're gonna bring the deck list up between the games, but let me just let the judges know that the players are ready. Let me make sure they're all cropped in as well, and then we can get this thing started. Let's see this. All right, so the players seem like they are in good position. I believe everything is visible and ready to be seen, and I'll let the judges know that we are ready. And John, just like that, we should be ready to go.
Okay. Thank you, JD.
All right. And shout out to John, who's going to be the judge for this event today, and also Ellie, who's going to be our head judge. I believe she's going to be hanging out and watching the program and getting loose and active with us all. The LCCC has just been a very great experience for us all so far. And if the rest of the rounds are any indicator of what round number one has been like, we're going to be in for a real treat, as it looks like I believe Speci has won the dice roll and let you go first. And I mentioned this earlier, Color.
Mhm.
During the LCCCC, out of all the players on each side of the field, EU, you got DKP there,
Mhm.
NA, we have Edmund Chu there. The player I would want to play the least is Speci in this type of tournament. 100%. I would never want to play Speci. He had a great showing in the last LCCC, really taking out some great players because he always is going to bring something that you've never seen before. And I think he did that here again today with the Emerald and Amethyst strategy, playing some unique cards that a lot of people may not even know what most of these cards do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm already seeing a couple cards where I'm like, okay, I know what these cards are, but do you know what these cards are? And especially that that second card on the board there, that enigmatic, somebody help me, Inkcaster. It's a card I opened so many of, and every time I opened it, I was like, ugh. I even opened a ton of foils, but here, like Joe was like, you know what if I just threw it in the deck? What if I just said, you know what, let's ride with it, let's rock it. It does something relevant, but again, it costs 3. So let's see, what is that card? It comes in
Enigmatic Inkcaster. Basically, every time you play a second card, you gain a lore, essentially. And it uses a really cool word. I like that word, enigmatic. Okay.
Thank you.
Enigmatic. I think it's an enigma, but enigmatic. There's another card color. This is a color trivia for today for the LCCC, JDZ, and color trivia. Enigmatic is also going to be featured on another card in Disney Lorcana. Can you tell me what it is without searching, without looking it up?
Is it a variant name or is it the actual title of a card?
It's a subtitle of a card.
So a variant name. Enigmatic. Is it like someone like Flynn Rider or Scrooge McDuck or something like that?
No.
Oh.
It is a character though.
Yeah.
It is yokai. It is
yokai.
The smaller yokai, the medium yokai, I should say. He is an enigmatic inventor or something like that. As we are enigmatically underway, and Luke has his face cam there. Maybe I can kind of cheat that up a little bit so we can get a little sneak peek.
I was gonna say Luke is sideways too. I kind of like that as we ink a honey Marin to play a epic Pegasus. Oh, Pegasus. This is a very set 3. Like you just slammed him down. You slammed him down with some merfolk and you got going. And we're kind of seeing a John come into the Inkwell. Yes, Inkwell is very where that card is, but he is 0-4. So, I mean, I saw a card in Luke's altar that makes me very happy because as far as set 10 goes, it's one of my favorite cards, but I don't know how great it is. But we are seeing this Amber and Steel matchup, which this deck has not performed very, very well this set, as we do see an Eilonwy going into the discard off of a Mulan draw and discard.
Oh yeah, and to your point, Amber and Steel, it has kind of fallen off. But just looking at Luke's deck list, granted I have not shown them yet, so you can't really look at them. But I will bring them up in between rounds just to kind of speed this thing along. But Luke is playing a pretty unique build of this deck. It's not just a straight up aggro deck, but he has his own unique inclusion in there as well. As Luke is a notorious spice lord as well. He can cook and he can create and he can build some unique strategies. So I'm not surprised he brought something spicy as well. But looking at Curley's deck, I think this is kind of going to be the talk of the town. As you know, he is going to be playing some type of aggressive, super over the top aggressive deck. We saw what he was playing in DLC in Milwaukee. He had a great run there, playing very aggressive Emerald and Steel deck with the family fishing pole and all of that. So that was really cool. But now he's back at it again, really getting aggro, 2 costs on 2, or 2/1 costs on 2, and continue to quest evasively with these Pegasus.
So now this is interesting because I will say, like in the past, if we are going to go back to the days where Pegasus was really good, it was Emerald Amethyst was not great into, is that a lantern? Did Luke put a lantern in his deck? Luke. Oh my gosh. I feel like if I yell loud enough, he can hear me because I cannot believe he did that. Luke loves this card so much.
Luke is 100% playing the Lantern Tactics, and that is one of his favorite cards in the game, and it is in the deck right now doing some work set up early. Wait till you see some of the other concoctions he has. I should just pull the deck list up really quick so we can all show them to the world. But
so again, yeah, the Lantern comes down. It's going to reduce the cost of your next character by 1 after you exert it. So, I mean, it can be really, really good, and I kind of understand this too. If he's playing more of a Steel Song deck, it basically means that is you just I did just wake up. So it does it basically is going to use Amber as a ramp to get you to that higher cost stuff. As we did see a Mickey Amethyst or Amber champion in the deck. So it does seem like maybe this is kind of like a more traditional Steel Song, but a little set 10 as we see a Scrooge McDuck come down, who I do think is very enigmatic, JDZ.
I like this Scrooge McDuck a lot. He is quite enigmatic. I think that's a great word to describe. We need to start working enigmatic into our vocabulary a little bit often, because that's a really cool word to say, as this card is sneakily a very powerful card in this deck specifically, as you can play that enigmatic Inkcaster if you want. And I can pull that up for everyone else who wants to see
Oh, it
it. But
costs 2. If
it,
you've played 2 or more cards, then you discard this card. It doesn't matter. I'm just kidding. But Scrooge McDuck does say when you play this card, you may draw and discard a card, which is really, really great. You've seen that. I love it because I love recursion synergies. So anything in Emerald to be able to put into my discard so I can Circle of Life it. But that is not this deck. We're playing Scrooge McDuck. He's enigmatic. We got 2 enigmatic Pegasus and Plow's guard. I refuse to call that card enigmatic because I don't know why. I just don't think he's a great card, but he's like one of those cards where you're like, meh. But I will say, back in, like, if we talk about historically speaking, Emerald Amethyst has not been great into Steel Song. So this is kind of an interesting setup where, like, how much of those like older kind of things is possible, because we have seen those Pegasus go for quite a few, but we do see Strength of a Raging Fire in Luke's hand, but does he have Fire the Cannons and all those little tiny removals that actually makes this deck not as great into Amber Steel?
yeah, I don't know how much steel removal Luke is playing, but it is representing that you have at least you have the Strength of Raging Fire. You're probably playing that new He Hurled His Thunderbolt card, which is a slam dunk probably in a strategy like this. Playing that Lantern only indicates that there is going to be some top end that you have in this deck. I know Luke very well, so I understand what some of his favorite cards are and what he would like to bring to a tournament like this. And maybe we can see this pop off as Speci now is assuming this aggro role very well. A lot of characters on the board. Most of them are evasive or questing for 2, and you have this Vanish character up as well, so you're able to apply a lot of pressure on Luke right now, who needs to figure out a way to slow down these evasive characters. Maybe he's got Tinkerbell in the deck. That's a good card for the Lantern, I believe.
Oh, absolutely. And again, like, that's kind of like, there are different ways. Like, we have Doc, you have Huey, you have Lantern. There are a lot of ramp options in Amber. And I don't know how many of us are really taking advantage of that. And Luke definitely realizing that when you exert that Lantern and make it cost 1 less, you got a free Mulan. And free, for some reason, is pretty good in this game. And we are going to go ahead and Strength of a Raging Fire onto that Scrooge McDuck, because the card does say whenever this card is challenged, period, it goes back to your hand, which I think is lovely.
All right, checking in with the chat. I have to fix some stuff in OBS really quickly, Color. I was trying to show Luke's beautiful face, but it's not going to work because of the croppage that we have here. So I'm gonna do this live, everyone. I do apologize for that. Thank you so much for your patience, and we want to focus on getting the game board and as much of the hand. I'm sorry, Luke. I did everything I could to get your beautiful mug into the
Rockstar
fray.
Stitch. There's a Rockstar Stitch and a Little Shift Stitch onto the board. This is Luke Vonderland's specialty. Rockstar Stitch, Amber Steel song was set 1. It's what he did. It's what he loved. And here it is in its new set 10 iteration. And I am so excited. I don't know if it's good. And it might be, Joe might beat the pants off of him before we see the deck. But we do see a Webby Vanderquack go into the Inkwell. That is the Webby with Ward Webby, as we are going to play the Enigmatic Inkcaster this turn, which says if you've played 2 or more cards, you get to exert it and gain a lore. And now we see that we do have a Gathering Wisdom and Knowledge and a Merfolk in our hand. So this deck is going fast. How are we drawing cards? I have no idea, but we are about to find out as we pass to Luke.
He is playing it with Amethyst, and he does have that Show Me More. It's going to be in the discard, so that's a great way to add some cards from your deck to your hand. He's also probably going to be playing a card, Amethyst Chromacon is going to be in the deck. A great way to kind of refill your hand. And you really don't care if your opponent's drawing too many cards, because you're just going to try to take them right on to aggro town. So it does not matter, as Luke is now trying to catch up a bit, playing a free Mulan to the board into another Pluto. You need to get to some bodies, though. You need some stats right now. You really can't engage at all, Color.
No, you definitely can't. And we do see that there is the Thunderbolt in hand, but we are seeing Mulan, we are seeing the Thunderbolt, we're seeing the Stitch, which I can kind of see in another Pluto, which the Pluto is an uninkable card, but it is another cost reducer, which we're starting to see the synergy, because Rockstar Stitch is a rock star with all of these 1s and 2 drops, because it basically says whenever he's in play and you play a 1 or 2 drop, you may exert that 1 or 2 drop to then draw a card. And again, that is slow, but at the same time, it's like your main source of card draw. And at this point, that's all we've seen is 1 and 2 drops. So we obviously see that this deck has been constructed in a way to basically benefit this play line. Oh, we see him shuffling cards around like, oh God, what's good, what's not? And it does seem like we're valuing the dock and the removal at this point.
All right, so I'm doing a little bit more OBS maintenance, trying to get this thing as good as I can. I do apologize for that, gang. Just keep rolling with me for a moment while I get this thing set up. Every time a new player comes in, it's going to be a slightly different crop. And like I said, we had a little bit of a late jump today. No worries. We're going to get this thing built on the fly. And I want to thank you guys all for your patience. This is live TV as we're going to get this thing happening for you all. So thank you guys for that. This should be quite good there, as we are going to bring, and Luke is also playing very, very close to the tip of the border there. I don't know if we can get some of the judges to tell him to kind of slide his game board back closer to the blue line. That would help me tremendously, and also the viewers at home, if we can get him to just bring his cards closer to that blue edge. I think would help us a lot, as we are going to bring that Pluto down. Still need to find some stats, is Luke. He's at 1 lore.
And we did see the Stitch come down, and the Mulan went ahead and traded with the Webby Vanderquack to make sure that maybe potentially Joe can't sit there and shift and do anything crazy on their turn. We do have a Rhino. It seems like maybe we are going to go ahead and pop the Palace Guard for one more, just throwing a little bit more damage on the things that we can throw damage on. Now, we do see a Curse Merfolk, which, everything on the board has enough stats to get rid of that. And there is a Gathering Wisdom and Knowledge. So it seems as though if we don't get to some form of card draw, we are probably going to be in a little bit more trouble, because we are at 8 lore, but 8 lore, well, a White Rose is another, that's a little bit more lore. So now we're creeping up to a scary amount. I think if we just go ahead, play the Curse Merfolk and wait until, and then we'll just play the Rose as well, because we had way more ink than I thought we did. So
yeah, I would love to see Luke. He's got the Pluto set up. He has the lantern set up. I'd love to see a Tinkerbell come on through for the DLC Champions next turn. I believe you can get that to play, and you will really...
That would be so satisfying.
Just like annihilate Joe's board here. I am trying to be as unbiased as possible, but a Tinkerbell is what I would love to see, as Speci is already climbing up to 12 in the lore total, playing a super aggressive deck, as you would imagine him to be doing. He's got that Gathering Wisdom and Knowledge in hand. That's also representing 2 more lore. So Luke is in trouble here in the next few turns, as I don't know if you can kind of catch up, as now Luke is moving his camera. Please, no.
This is the worst timeline for JDZ. Oh my gosh, it's so fun. Yeah, that's the thing is too, is like, if you're ever like setting anything up in OBS and you're like, oh, should I move? Should I do a little dance? The answer is no. Stay perfectly still and just please let the person fix the OBS. It's hilarious. And so yeah, this is looking, I mean, we are at 12, which is quite a bit. And so we are going to go ahead and challenge our Palace Guard into that Rhino to maybe make sure that we can protect our White Rose and our Merfolk next turn, maybe just kind of getting a little bit more power off the board. Well, now we do see Strength of a Raging Fire. So what Luke can do here at this point is go ahead and shift that Rockstar Stitch onto the board, which I think Joe will probably lose his ever-loving mind, because no way that you did that. However, Rockstar Stitch comes down, so we're able to go ahead and play the Mulan. It's going to trigger the draw for the Rockstar Stitch, and then it's also going to be able to draw a card, and now he will be able to discard a card. So we're probably going to go ahead and discard this John, which sounds really, really great, because honestly, another thing that can now happen is we can sing the Strength of a Raging Fire on one of these cards. Potentially that 3/3 that'll be able to come back and crack into our Rockstar Stitch when it turns it sideways, because he does have 3 lore, but we are going to have some singing happen this turn. But again, we're at 12. We have the Gathering in hand. We might have to pop that Merfolk, because it does have the 2 lore, but unfortunately that means we don't have any like answers for those evasive Pegasus that have been eternal since turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's a lot happening. I concur mightily, as we do get another Rockstar Stitch activation. He's going to bring out the Island Way into an exerted position to get another card. And if he can somewhat, like you said, if he can clear that 3 lore off the board, that White Rose, we get White Rose off the board, I think he could potentially turn this thing around. I mean, I do hate the spot. I hate the position, especially without a card like Tinkerbell that you have access to.
18. Oh, gosh. Sorry, I just counted. I was like, even if he gets the White Rose off the board, I think that gets Joe to 18 next turn. And so then any amount of burn off the top, and we're having Luke's at 1. So, I mean, it might be,
he's got the enigmatic ink caster as well. So that's representing a lore. He has to gather Wisdom and Knowledge in hand. So this could just be game over next turn. Because he can go to, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That gets you up to 17. The Gathering Wisdom is 19. If he
And
has
then
literally any other card, the
literally,
Inkcaster will
it's
just
the
pop
game.
off there for the
Yeah,
game.
that's game. So unfortunately, it's like it might be the merfolk, but at the same time, like, is that, you know, like trying to protect your Stitch is one thing, but at the same time, like it might be the 2 lore off the board,
Right.
and you have no way of like playing both songs right now. So it is, and the thing is like we don't know that he has a Gathering Wisdom and Knowledge in hand because we haven't even seen the deck list yet. So I think that I would probably go for the White Rose because that makes for the most sense to trying to keep my board alive because you can just like crack in with into my Elonwe and my Mulan as well. So those will just be taken for free as you continue to quest. But we are Luke Vonderland, and we took the Merfolk because we know that that's a gathering wisdom and knowledge because we're one of the. It's Luke. It's
Yeah.
Luke.
I think he made the correct decision overall.
Yes.
As that
Yes.
Mulan is at the top of the board, if he could just shift those cards back ever so slightly towards that blue line, it would just help so much. But it is what it. Oh, thank you, Luke. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh
We
yes,
did it.
that's perfect. As it looks like we're just counting our cards and trying to figure out the last little piece that we have. As we're going to just get another quest in for 2. Going up to 14 is Joe Speci Curley, the ultimate specimen. We're bringing out the Flynn, and then Gathering Wisdom. Enigmatic Inkcaster is going to gain an additional lore as well.
So we're going to 19.
That's 17
no,
now
17.
because we took out that Merfolk.
Huh. All right, counting is hard, but no, because we haven't gone to the White Rose yet, so we would go to 18 if we do so choose. But at this point, yeah, like looks like listen, dude, that's a burn deck. I'm not doing this. Let's just go ahead and see what we have. And now we know that this is a deck that Joe is done, and now Luke can go ahead and alter his plan. Look at Luke. I mean, I don't know if you can see him. You guys can't see him, but like Luke is smiling. He's like, absolutely not. Yeah, you know.
And I kind of figured something like this would definitely happen. So really quick, I'm going to bring up the deck list super fast for everyone at home that is watching. You guys can check these things out. But here is Luke's deck. So checking it out, it is a Rockstar Stitch deck. Like you said, there is no Tinkerbell. You are playing Goliath. You have Strength, and you have He Herald's Thunderbolt as your removal. You love to have some Fire Cannons in there in this particular matchup, but it's probably not going to be the best card in the meta game overall. So checking out the deck, it seems like it can do some really, really cool stuff. You have the Rockstar Stitch, which is going to be the main focal point, but you also have a backup plan with these Shift Rhino, and you have the Mickey Mouse, the new Mickey Mouse that increases the willpower of all your steel or Amber characters, of which you have a ton. What do you think about this deck, Color? Look, can you see it?
I can see it now. I don't know. I was like looking for it. I'm like, oh, there's so many monitors. I am not in my normal setup. I'm in a different time zone. I apologize to everyone for everything going on. However, that Mickey Mouse Amber Champion is my favorite. Like, I keep saying that, but like he really is. Like Cauldron is like it's like a personal favorite of mine. But this Amber Champion Mickey Mouse is so good because basically this says whenever you have 2 or more Amber characters in play, he's a singer 8, so he can sing Circle of Life by himself. And we all know that that's what I want to be doing every day. But he does give your Amber characters +2 willpower, which I think is really, really cool because we do see the Pluto in this deck, and we do see the Lantern in this deck, and we see 4 Lanterns in this deck because, oh my gosh. But anyway, so that's a lot of cost reducing. That's a lot of Amber champions as well and things like that. So all of these things, like Eilonwe becomes a 2/3. Like that's insane.
It
Pluto's
matters.
a 0/4. That's insane. It's like it's almost as good as a bodyguard because you've just added so much willpower onto these insane characters. And we do see that Spicy's Goliath clan leaders
just
in there.
helping to keep continuing to allow you to draw some cards to go later into the game. But he's going to be matched up against one of the craziest decks I've seen of the format so far. He's playing against Joe Speci Curley, who is playing Ink Casting. Looking at this deck, I am just absolutely grossed out. This is grotesque right here, and it seems absolutely messy. He's playing one of the most aggressive decks I think I've ever seen, and I've gotten to know Speci pretty well in some of his philosophies, and when he's not playing Sapphire, his goal is to just absolutely just destroy Sapphire, and I think this deck can do that very well. It's going to be very difficult for the Sapphire players, especially if you're trying to ramp and take it slow. He's going to put so much lore pressure on you so quickly that you're just not going to have a chance to play, and by the time you get to the spooky site, it's going to be a little bit too late. What do you think about this deck, Cole? Have you seen anything like this before?
I mean, this is basically, he took everything that was like, hey, does this say gain allure on it in these colors? Yes, it does. Put it in the deck. And again, I mean, this is a completely aggressive deck. I like there's so many 1-drop. There's like, I can't do math, but that's a lot of one drops. And then your high end is a shift target. So again, we see that that white rose, which gains you a lore, is basically the top end of the deck because it's kind of insane at that point. And then having the Inkcaster in there as well, having the Chromacon, basically this kind of deck is one of those things where like, oh, just play cards and turn it sideways. Actually, no. No, it's not. You have to be doing math the entire time. You have to realize what cards you have in your hand. You have to realize how many cards that you're able to draw, and they all have at least 1 to 2 lore pinned on them because they either burn or they burn, which meaning you gain lore from hand when they come into play. So being able to keep that kind of tally in your head at the same time and knowing when the game is over, like okay, I've drawn dead, I can't do anything, or knowing what your outs are in this deck. It is because you're sitting at low resources, and we did see that he did have an Amethyst Chromacon, but we didn't draw it, and we still kind of did fine. And by the time that we got to our last turn, we basically had exactly game in play.
And it worked out super nicely. So I like this deck a lot. I like the creativity behind it, and I like every time a player is going to just attack the metagame itself, I'm always going to be a big fan of that. As that Pluto good boy is at the very forefront of that board, if we could just play closer to the back, I think that would be super nice. As the white rose is going to come on through as the first ink. Maybe we put that cursed merfolk down to match with this Pluto good boy or guard Pluto, not guard dog. Oh my goodness, it's early for me too.
Yeah, this is Pluto, the goodest boy that ever was. That's not his name, and JDZ and I always make up different names for him because listen, it's Pluto. He's amazing. But we are going to go after the Palace Guard. Friendly Pooch. We were so wrong. The Palace Guard is really good. I like this on the draw because it is going to be able to stick around. It is a 1/4. And again, if we are going on traditional means, 1/4s are kind of difficult for a Amber Steel deck to go ahead and get rid of. And we didn't see a Fire the Cannons the first game, so we're probably going to go ahead and assume that it's not in there, and it's not in there because we saw the deck list, so we know. But at the same time, we are going to ink a Rhino. It's a pretty good card here, but to play that Lantern, then to go ahead and throw down our Stitch because we have our Rockstar Shift line in our hand. Oh, I'm so excited.
That's a pretty good timeline, and you can potentially get this thing shifted next turn. I want to say if the Pluto can survive. And also we're just doing a little mathematics. When you got Lantern and Pluto together, that is going to kind of throw the numbers off a little bit. So you can shift this Rockstar next turn, and then potentially you can start storming off and getting some immense value. And this Mowgli, we didn't even talk about the Mowgli
I was about
color.
to say, I got so excited because I was like, the Mowgli is going to be able to nab that enigmatic Inkcaster. Get that out of your hand and off of the board, as we do see the Webby Vanderquack come down. This is the punish. This is the unfortunate part, because she does say when she comes in, she gives a chosen character +1 strength this turn, and that is enough to go ahead and pop in and get rid of that Pluto and ruin my dreams. There were so many dreams I was having.
I think Rockstar Stitch should be, I believe it's a shift 4. Let me pull it up really quick so we can make sure, but I'm pretty sure Rockstar Stitch is a shift Stitch. I believe I think let's say shift. Is he a shift 3 or shift 4?
I'm pretty sure it's 3.
Okay, so you still can deploy it next. No, it's shift 4. So you still can deploy it next turn, but you will have to ink, and you really would love to keep this Strength of Raging Fire and this Mowgli. So you're going to need another high impact quality ink card next turn if you want to shift. And then keeping that Mowgli around, but it's going to slow you off their timeline by losing that Pluto that last turn. So interesting development coming in from Luke. We're going to get the Flynn down now into the Inkwell, and that very fearsome and ferocious Pegasus is back. Looking at Luke's deck, I don't even know if he has an answer to these evasive threats outside of the 2 removals that he had.
Yeah, it doesn't seem as though he does. He basically took this deck and went, you know what, evasives aren't real, because we do know that Horseman Strikes is a character or a card in that color pairing. And actually, I quite like that card a bit. I mean, I know it costs 3, but at the same time, we're saying basically, Strength of Raging Fire into the Inkwell, but that's okay because we're going to go. Rockstar Stitch is doing some singing, and that's great. So we're going to go ahead and pop probably, oh gosh, is it the Webby so we don't shift? Yeah.
I don't hate that. Yeah, getting that Webby off the board just because it is threatening that shift. But I wouldn't mind that Pegasus either, because that one lore just was so annoying last round. As Speci is going to get to its refueling station, that Amethyst Chromacon, but do you play it in this situation? I don't know.
I'm not at this point. I think maybe you probably keep it around, and at this point too, I don't know if Hey is going to we can play Hey and get an ink. Maybe that would be amazing, but no, you have to ink to get there, and that's unfortunate. So Hey's not going to get any value. I might potentially put that in an inkwell. However, it does have 2 lore on it. Who knows? It might just be Is it the Enigmatic Inkcaster and the Merfolk this turn? That
Yeah.
might be cute.
You could, but you probably want to keep that. Oh, we're inking the hey. Okay, so getting rid of the hey.
Yeah.
Down into the inkwell.
Absolutely, because we're not going to get any value off of it. It is a 2/3 and it does have 2 lore, but at the same time, I think it's better to just serve to get the Merfolk onto the board
The
this turn.
hey is not a hey. That is a Webby. We got proxies over here, and those. Come on, Speci. We gotta up the ante on those proxies.
Oh,
If you're gonna be using test cards, man, you gotta give me some effort, dude.
you gotta just take a black Sharpie and write Webby right over the hey.
Draw
a
picture or something. This. You gotta step your game up on those test cards, big dog. We can't be going out like that.
You just gotta like. You could have used it in another color as well. Like, I don't know, grab a sapphire card. We'd be like, oh, I wonder what that's a proxy for. As we do see the Mowgli come down at 3 frames per second. And it will be able to get that Amethyst Chromacon. So get out of here.
And that is a slight punish for Speci as he prioritized the Inkcaster over the Amethyst Chromacon. And now the Chromacon is a card that you probably would like to value in this situation, as now the Doc is going to come through with the Rockstar Stitch. So Doc draw 3. You did lose the other lantern, and you get another one.
The lantern. Sorry. I mean, that was one of the things I was like, oh, I'm so greedy. I'm slamming that other lantern. And again, of course, Luke is a better player than I am. So we are going to go ahead, Doc, draw 2 cards, slam a Mowgli into the inkwell because we know what's in your hand, and then go ahead and play a Pluto. So this board is looking wide, and then we were able to draw another card of the Rockstar Stitch. Oh, our card draw engine is working.
I think Luke just is going to say, you know what? I'm about to Rockstar this game away. If you want to be the aggro player, you don't want to challenge me, well, that's fine. I'm about to put 25 characters on this board, and we're going to see what happens if you keep this party train rocking and rolling. As the White Rose is coming on through, the score is all knotted up at 3-3. Let me update that really quickly. Boom and boom.
Now, the Inkcaster says if you've played 2 cards in a turn or if you've drawn 2 cards. I'm not quite sure.
No, you have to play 2 cards. On your second card, you can gain a lore.
So how in the world is it sideways right now?
Because he played the White Rose, and
correct.
I think he played the...
Nope.
I don't know. That's it. Just White Rose, and that's it.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit confused about that because I did see
I think he played itself. Does it count for itself? No, he played it last turn. No, he played that last turn. It is.
So why did he exert the Inkcaster is kind of where I'm at. Is a bunch of stuff has happened on Luke's turn because Rockstar Stitch will do that to you. He was amazing. We loved that card. Everything happened, and then they printed Medusa, and Rockstar Stitch went, ew, I can't be played anymore.
No.
However, this is what's happening is we're playing rhinos and
one frame a second. He's going the frames are just barely hanging on, but Luke is just adding more and more characters to the board, and this thing is literally popping off. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I can't see it. There's so many frames per second, but I did just read for chat that Speci does go ahead and exert items just for funsies, even though he didn't gain the look. But it was enough to ruin my entire train of thought, and I looked over at Luke's board, and stuff and things are happening.
Yeah, it's a lot just went down, but basically with Rockstar Stitch, every time you play a 1-cost character, it can be exerted and then you can draw a card. Well, Luke's deck is saturated with 1-cost characters, and he's just drawing a ton of cards and playing more 1-cost characters to draw more cards, and then Mulan is drawing cards and discarding a card while adding more cards, and it's just a whole chain of events that is happening there. So Luke's board has jumped massively. We got 15 there for Speci though, so Speci is still pressuring a lot for game here, and Luke needs to do something about it to be able to combat the situation, and that something is nothing, and we're just gonna kind of scoop it up and in there. So, I'm an idiot. Oh my god, I need to color. Come back.
Oh my god, we're going to game 3.
Color. I'm an idiot, dude. This has just been the most.
This has been the most insane. I apologize on so many levels. You guys are here, and we are just winging it to the most degree that I've ever winged anything in my entire life.
That's my fault. That's my fault. I'm gonna take full responsibility for everything that's happening. We're gonna edit all this out, okay, on the YouTube VOD. Okay, no one's gonna see this. Okay, you're going to game 3 because they're not. I can't hear what they're saying. I'm just reading body language, and it looks like Luke scooped. That's what it looked like, and I was like, oh, it's over. I looked back for a second.
We don't know who was winning either, chat. We are so sorry. But at the same time, we will try to keep this lore updated. We're going to have to go ahead and look. At the same time, we were at totals. Yeah, I mean, at this point, it was basically, I think Speci went ahead and decided, like, okay, you have got so much stuff on board. You put my Amethyst Chromacon into the discard. So there's not really a way for me to come back from here.
This is a cursed episode, but we're gonna be fine. Okay, we're gonna bounce back.
This is super cursed, and I'm so happy that you guys are here to watch this epic downfall. Thank you. But you know what? Shout out to Luke and Speci for playing clean games, doing the best of their ability. Again, I think we have Luke in like 4 frames per second, so that is about twice as many frames as there was at the end of last game. So it turns out that I cannot really see these cards and count lore if they're blurry, and it's basically like a black and white slideshow from back in the day. So this is good. It's going really well. It's going really well. We've got proxies. We've got 2 frames per second. We've got a white rose into the inkwell into a Flynn Rider as we start game 3. Woo!
It's happening. Okay. Game number 3. Okay, it all comes down to this. This is for all of the marbles. It looks like I thought Luke was down. I thought it was over, but it is not. And here it is. Speci hand is looking quite terrible. You need some ink, and you did not get it. That is brutal. I think you might have had to run the numbers and elect to not ink that, and elect to ink that Flynn Rider there in that exact scenario. I think you had to put that Flynn Rider down in the exact in that scenario.
Like, this cursed mofurk. Yeah, you gotta go ahead and ink that. I mean, there is a world where you're like, oh, do I just like turn myself? Yeah, I mean, you're on the play, but like, do you ink this or do you just play the merfolk and pass, or do you get this? Yeah, you gotta put that down because then you can play the Scrooge, draw a card. Hopefully, it's another ink caster, and then not an ink caster, Chromacon, and then you can go ahead and discard one of these ink casters. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So we're fixing the hand a little bit. That's why that Scrooge McDuck is so good, especially in a deck like this that probably runs, 30 uninkables at this point.
Yeah, I think he has. I didn't count how many uninkables Speci has in his deck, but I'm certain that it is quite a few. And he just kind of suffered there, barely getting to second ink. And he had to put one of your best cards down to the inkwell early just to continue to play your game. As you have that Flynn Rider there questing for 1, you got the Rhino shift, so the punish is instant and immediate, as Rhino is going to be able to shift on in and take down the Flynn. Oh no, it's singing. We're singing the Thunderbolt onto that Scrooge. I don't hate that at all.
Oh yeah, get rid of the Scrooge, because again, the Scrooge does say whenever this is challenged, you put it back to hand, and so that's just like continuous hand fixing for Speci, especially if we're not going to be using that. And we do see the other Scrooge go down. I'm sure Luke feels great about that, popping the only removal that they had on the character that's going to be one of the biggest pains in the butt, because we did see the Amethyst Chromacon go into the inkwell, so that's our card draw, but at the same time, Scrooge is really great for just filtering through the deck. But yeah. Luke's hand is looking real good, so
and he could take challenges quite well as well. So he can just continue to be replayed and continue to cycle more cards, which can be problematic for Luke, I'm certain. As we are going to go ahead and just gather some wisdom right here. No, we're
discard this to the Scrooge, okay. Yeah, and then we're going to go ahead and ink the Flynn Rider and get that pesky Pegasus onto the board, because we know he is immortal in this matchup. But I think we'll go for the Merfolk.
Maybe just trying to get some lore potentially, and yeah, just putting that lore pressure on the board, and maybe saving that Pegasus in the event that you need some more ink on your follow-on turns. Flynn now unboosted, still going to just quest for 1 into the face of this Rhino. Speci goes up to 2.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, questing this Flynn at this point is probably fine, as we do see, I'm going to guess an Eilonwy. Nope, that is a Mowgli coming down, and we're going to show him we have our Ignatic Inkcaster, which goes right into the discard, because Mowgli does say a non-character of your choice, or of their choice.
Yeah, but they choose for the Mowgli. And just anything that's not a character, it has to get on down to the discard pile. As the Rhino is thinking about challenging or questing, and it looks like we are going to take down that Flynn.
Especially before he boosts and becomes a 3/2 with boosty boost, as we do go ahead and ink my favorite card, but it's okay because we are putting Pluto down into the inkwell as we go ahead and take a little read on the Amber Champion. Again, notably, we said that card is bananas, but he is a very inkable card, and we do have a Doc Strength in hand. So Strength will be able to strength the Scrooge McDuck. And it's a Nala. Oh no, it's not a Nala. That's not a Nala because it's a proxy. What are we? What is this?
That is.
We wrote on it. We wrote on it. It is a
Little John. Why proxy Little John for Nala? They do the same thing. Speci's trolling. I love Speci so much. I love Speci so much. Unless it's the
Yeah.
other Little John. Maybe it's a different Little John.
No, I think that probably is the 0-4. He just didn't have another one cost Little John, so he didn't. He was like, you know.
But they do the same thing. There's no difference.
Because he wants it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a proxy. We can have proxies. You know, just go ahead,
Oh,
put him in there.
Okay, I'll give it that. Just okay. I love how he writes it on there. Just like a kid just left it there, like, hey, this is Little John. And the other, wait, he writes on the other one though. Okay.
Yeah, he didn't write on the other one. Oh my gosh. So yeah, we do see a Rhino go into the inkwell as we go ahead and sing that Strength of a Raging Fire on. I'm going to go ahead and assume that it was a Scrooge McDuck, and we are going to pause for half a second, and we're back, which we love to see it. Making sure that this cursed game continues to be cursed. We see a Pluto come down and a Rockstar Stitch off of the dock that was just played. So we're going to back up just a little bit, it seems. We do have the dock that came down. Oh my gosh, what is happening?
Just because sometimes when it refreshes, you can see the other person's hand. The little guard goes away. And I think that could have occurred there. The hand is Rockstar Stitch and Pluto. We are going to quest we are going to... I'm confused here. Oh, he discarded the Pluto with the dock? Oh, with the Curse Merfolk challenge.
Right,
okay, so we're challenging Curse Merfolk, and then we are going to discard the Pluto for the cost of challenging Curse Merfolk with the Rhino, and then we're going to pass back on over. I think next turn, if you draw some ink off the top, you should be able to deploy your win condition there with the Rockstar Stitch, as Little John, Pegasus, and Diablo are going to be on the board. Stare down now. Did Luke get to the ink? And you did. It's going to be in the form of Mulan, so she's going to get jammed to the inkwell almost immediately, as Luke's going to continue to have to board fight here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we go ahead and exert the Pluto for that. Then we're going to exert the Rhino. Go ahead and take care of that. I think the Rhino is pretty much the end of the end, because there's nothing in Speci's deck, in Joe's deck, that is going to be able to kind of do anything about this Rhino. So the Rhino is just going to continue to eat for free. And unfortunately, the Webby Vanderquack does come down. And now Diablo is a 1/1, but he's just going to take a little quest.
Yeah, he's you're right. I don't know if Speci has a single out to this card for card. Maybe you do like a series of Webby Vanderquacks and get something strong enough to run over it, but that is basically it. I think once that Rhino is shifted, and Luke recognized that almost immediately, as we are still kind of losing some frames. I do appreciate you guys still hanging out. I've never seen Luke's stream do this before. I don't know why it's deciding to do that now. Here, I watch a stream almost every day, and it has never done this before. But now here we are in the LCCC. It's going to be electing to go down to 1 frame per second. No big deal, as we are continuing to quest, and we got the Rockstar Stitch down now, I believe, but you draw into the Goliath, so that's a bummer there for Luke, because that's definitely a card you will not want to play in this matchup for sure.
Yeah, we're not trying to give Speci more cards at this point. I think Luke's out is basically what he did, and we did not recognize last game was where he just plays it and continues to flood the board, and he is able to flood the board faster than Joe can flood the board. So that means that his board he'll just build up and get to 20 essentially. So where he'll unexert and just quest out for game, and then I'm the aggro deck now, is what Luke is saying.
I need to start. I need to figure something out. What's going on there? As we are going to continue to send the Flynn Rider, and we're going to send...
Is that the Little John? Did he say that it's a Nala? Because that would actually be... Sorry. Oh, Big Nose is what? Who cares? I don't know.
I believe that's Palace Guard. Especially I think he's moving. He's in the middle of a move. He hasn't got his shipment in yet of his cards.
As a Palace Guard. All right. So again, I mean, we're just questing at this point. I mean, we're kind of in a situation where we don't know what the top of like Luke's deck is going to do. Luke doesn't even know it, but it doesn't matter because he's just going to continue to play 1 and 2 costs with this Rockstar Stitch on the board and then draw cards. And he has enough ink and enough stuff. It's almost like it doesn't even matter. You kind of, oh, that's so unfun. You get like this chain, right? So you draw a card and then you exert it, and then you draw a card and you exert it, and then you draw a card and it's a lantern, and you're like, oh, come on, you messed up my whole flow. But at the same time, we're looking, it doesn't matter. Luke's at 14. This is bananas. And 15, 16, or we just go ahead and take the Webby just to be safe. Because again, that's it. Because Rockstar Stitch quests for 3. So 3 plus all of that equals game.
Yeah, that is and that is going to get it done. I can't believe I thought Luke lost. I feel like such an idiot now because this deck is actually. I didn't get a chance to with all the chaos and calamity that was going on behind the scenes. I do apologize again for everyone viewing at home. I didn't get a chance to really express how cool this deck is that Luke has created, and seeing it pop off here live in the LCCC is very important as we are going to keep questing. We have the boosted. Flynn Rider getting up to 16, but this is going to be a GG type scenario here. We're just
Look at, and then here's Luke's doing the thing. He's like, hold on, I can play this, I can draw. Oh, and then here's the Rockstar Stitch. What are we doing, Luke? Come on now. He's like, but I want to play the thing, and then I can shift it. And then look what I did. Look what I did, guys. I did the thing. So yeah, and I do see that in that last moment, Luke actually did go ahead and challenge into the Webby, because if you were able to boost the Flynn and get some lore off the top, Joe would have won that. So so that's why Luke went ahead and instead of he took the Webby, because if he would have shifted the Webby, if he would have gotten a Gathering Wisdom and Knowledge, he had that game. That's how close they were playing in this situation. And again, hats off to Luke for this deck, because it's like, it takes a second, but once it's going, it's gone. It's absolutely zooming.
Oh, for sure. But we're gonna hop over to the interview room, and we're gonna get a chance to talk to the players and hear what they have to say about those decks. So I'll mute myself here again, this time for real, and then we'll hop on in. Okay. All right, gentlemen. The LCCC rages on, and Luke Vonderland comes through and gets the dub in the final match in round number 1.
Am I able to be heard?
Luke. I think yes.
Yeah, I don't feel as if I won that match as much as Speci's deck decided to fail him in game 3.
Right. But just for
I
both,
don't think that's true.
For both
your Mowgli was in my head, bro. That was the thing.
Please don't. I ask you both. I encourage you both. Please don't go back and watch the stream. We were having some technical issues there on my side, but no big deal. There was some issues there. But gentlemen, as I like to start these things, I like to figure out why you do what you do. And first, I'm going to thank you both. And I see you both are kind of cammed up here, so if you just give me a moment, as we start with you first,
yeah, sure.
Luke. We'll start with you first, Luke, since you are the victor. Can you just talk about your deck? Why did you bring this deck? What were your plans? And what did you think you're going to run into here in the LCCC?
Well, I was really hoping not to play against Purple Steel. I was hoping that everyone would over meta for it and try to counter it, and then maybe I could run over a bunch of Emerald Sapphire decks or Sapphire Steel decks. I feel like that matchup's a lot better. The Amethyst Steel matchup is not a nightmare. It's still winnable. It can just be rough. I mean, if they have the perfect curve, 1, 2, 3 strength, like it could take me out before I could do anything. Granted, my game 2 is like firing on all cylinders. Is like one of the best opens I could have. Pluto into Lantern to an early shift. Like he even answers the Pluto, but I'm able to shift, and I top decked the removal to sing that turn. It's like you basically get one ramp, preferably Pluto, so you can go Pluto, Stitch, Shift, Sing. But if you draw a Pluto Lantern, then you can play both, and if they answer Pluto, then that's the thing. Sometimes they'll answer the Shift, and then you can just play the Rockstar for 6. So it's still worth doing that if you can. But it's basically a love letter to set 1. I love playing Rockstar in set 1. It was like I'm playing Lanterns in it. I'm playing Rockstar. It's like my favorite things I could possibly be doing with Lorcana, and this felt like the right place to do it.
Nice. I definitely pointed that out. I was like, oh my gosh, he's playing Lantern. And then you had the Rockstar Stitch. And I was like, Luke's doing it. He's doing his set 1 things that Luke does. So I definitely recognized that. I was super, super excited about that. But again, I kind of wanted to, well, if we want, Joe, I want to hear about your deck too, because I got really excited. I want to ask like 30 questions, but I do want to hear about your deck first before I go off. So
sure.
Scrooge McDucks.
Yes, I love it.
Mate, I had the same reaction with Luke's deck though. When I saw the Pluto, the Lantern, and then he played the Stitch, I was like, oh, I see what's going on here, and I like it. That's one of my first ever Lorcana videos I made was a Rockstar Stitch deck with like Pride lands where you could go infinite, and that was like an all-timer for me. So cool to see it. And Luke, popped off. So my deck's just like, we don't have a good name for it because burn is not a very Disney-friendly word. And story deck doesn't really work. I managed to ship story on board a bit, but story deck doesn't have the same ring to it. So we still need a name for it. But like this style of deck where you're gaining lore without having to quest is something I've always been a big fan of. Last set, I play tested like every Amethyst iteration of a story deck or burn deck, whatever you want to call it, and none really worked, which is why at Milwaukee I ended up playing Emerald Steel aggro, which was like Chromacon. So I knew very early on that I wanted to play, like even when I was in Milwaukee, I was like, yeah, this next format, I'll just play like some kind of Amethyst Chromacon and show me more deck. And then I liked the look of Webby. When I built the deck, I was like thinking everyone would be playing Sapphire. I wasn't really like at that point aware that Purple Seal was going to be really good. And then I started reading some more of the new cards, and I saw like the Scrooge and the Enigmatic Ink Caster, and I was like, yep, okay, I'm playing that. And Pegasus was my MVP in Milwaukee. Like this card was insane for me, so I was like, yep, 4 Pegasus, just turn sideways and see what happens. Seems good.
Yeah,
Nice.
absolutely. And I did see one of those things, like, again, you're like, oh, just turn sideways. And I always think that's like a funny thing to say because it's like, just turn sideways. But at the same time, we did see that, I would say, even in game 2, that ended in a wild way. But game 1 and game 3, you basically had story on board that last turn, as though like it was exact kind of thing. And I think Luke also, I noticed you correctly identified that you needed to go ahead and take that Webby because if you were to shift, that also
He's got crazy cards.
Yeah. Exactly.
I was like, I don't want him being like, let's each draw 3 cards. Shift Webby, gather knowledge. Here's 4 lore you didn't think about. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, not today, Speci.
Yeah.
Not today.
And Speci's like, oh my god, look at my okay. I was gonna say you guys can't see his face. Oh, you can. Okay, good, because that was exactly what you were thinking, wasn't it? You were like, oh, that's my outfit. So it's like, oh, it looks like Luke has so much stuff on board, but at the same time, with a deck like this, especially since you're like you play aggro quite a bit, you're counting the entire game. Is that? Would you say?
I think I could have challenged a turn sooner and forgot to and was supposed to as well.
I didn't get to show my Pegasus, guys. So sad.
Ooh. Yeah, you
That
beat
is
me
pretty
down with the poor common versions. Instead
yeah.
of
Yeah, one was an epic. One was an epic.
I gotta ask.
Yeah, go on.
Where are your cards, man? I see you got some proxies in there, and I understand.
He's moving. He's moving.
I
He's in the
know.
process
I'm
of
moving.
I get you. Okay. I just want to.
I mean, I
brush
opened-
you up a little bit.
He
No,
wrote
please,
sorry
I opened-
on the card.
The Nala with that was supposed to be the Prince John. I'm like, there's no way you don't
Little
have
John, but
another Little John. Yeah, sorry. I was like,
No, I only have 3. I don't know. Basically, like all my cards, which I never play, are in my binders. I had to like go on Ryanair flight with 7 binders, but I had some cards I didn't finish sorting. So like basically, I actually have used Little John before, and somehow they're still in England. So it's my 1 Palace card apparently. And then I opened 10 boxes. The only card I wanted was Webby. I got like 6 Hades, 6 Demona. I don't want that. I just wanted 4 Webbies. I only got 2.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I got 3, man. I opened 3 cases. Got 3
I was
weapons.
about to say,
Damn.
yeah, I've opened quite a few cards and I haven't seen the Cinderella in person or in theory. So I feel you on the polls. Yeah, definitely. But again, I really, really loved you guys' match because it was like, oh, Joe always brings something spicy. He's always got something up his sleeve. Luke is an incredible deck builder and basically said, it was really, really nice because again, you already mentioned that Amethyst Steel is very, very strong this set, and we all kind of know that. But both of you brought these decks; they were of your own design, and it was incredible to watch. And please forgive us for the casting and the technical issues when you guys look back on it. I'm so sorry, but you guys are both wonderful, and I just kind of want to say, like, how did it feel seeing like these cards kind of back and forth, like especially with the lanterns and everything? Like Joe, I'll ask you, like. You kind of mentioned.
I was very excited to see it, but kind of terrified. To be honest, like when I won the die roll, I was like, okay, I probably just win. And then when I saw it was Amber Steel, I was like, ooh, that's probably the worst thing it could have been. But the Mowgli,
did so
just
much
cooked me. It cooked me in game 2, but moreover, Mowgli just totally mind gamed me into like throwing what felt like an unlosable spot. Because I was like, right, okay, I had my Amethyst Chromacon in opening hand. Like, I would have just kind of kept a 1-drop maybe and like kept this 1 Chromacon. But I was like, but if he Mowgli's me on turn 2 and I don't have another non-character card in hand, then I lose my card draw, and that's kind of my like only lose condition. And I was like, okay, I think I mulliganed 3 cards. And I was like, all I need to do is like draw 1 ink. And but I probably just over mulligan. I should have just kept like a Honey Marin. My curve would have been so lame, like so bad. My opening 7 was so bad, but like I kept the ink caster literally just to discard it if he plays Mowgli, so I could like play my normal curve and play the Chromacon like late when I want to. Like you don't want to play Chromacon on turn 2. You want to develop a whiteboard and then play Chromacon like as your last card basically. Because of this Mowgli, I was like, got in my head. And you know why I lost this game? It's because I rubbed the table with my card. If I didn't do that, I would have drawn ink.
What do you mean? That
You
gives
rubbed
you-
bad
Yeah, that
luck
was
on
crazy. That was
gives
crazy.
you- the rub is supposed to give you the good luck, man. That's how that
Well, it didn't work.
But it's okay. I mean, we did think the match was absolutely fantastic, and I'm gonna kick it over to you, Luke, one more time. And I mentioned this earlier in the epilogue or the entry of the event. Out of all the players that I do not want to play in this type of tournament, it's probably going to be the person you played against. So can you just talk about some of your thought processes going into it, knowing you're going to be playing against Curley, and what you thought he might be showing up with?
I mean, realistically, he's playing something very similar to what I thought he'd be playing, and something I did not want to play against.
Okay.
Like really aggressive Emerald beatdown. Like we didn't know who we were playing against when we submitted decks. So like, but when looking through it, my mind is just like, well, I really want to avoid hyper aggro, but what good play? Like, I shouldn't say what good player, but like most of the top pro players don't play aggressive decks. Like they're all playing Amethyst Steel. But like Speci and myself like to play aggressive tempo based decks.
Especially in this kind of format where you know that everyone like is a little bit try hard. Everyone's going to try and play something that's like tech for mirrors and this sort of stuff, right?
Much easier to try to metagame. And we both paired up against the person that we probably felt it was like harder to metagame against, because we're going to be playing anti-metagame decks.
Nice.
Yeah, neither of us wanted to play against each other, I think. It was a super fun game. I really enjoyed it. Luke's deck popped off. Like the Lantern Pluto into Stitch. Whoa!
Yeah.
Crazy.
Lovely to see. Actually, I'll spoil a little bit of it. We actually had no idea what happened in game 2. I don't know if you guys know that.
Oh no, you missed
I recorded
the good
it.
stuff.
No,
I recorded it.
No, like at the very ending of it. So basically, your frames dropped a little bit, and you flooded the board, and basically had story on board, but we didn't know that. And so then Joe was at 13, so he scooped.
Oh, and the game ended.
Yeah,
Oh,
it looked like he won.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man. And they was like, no, game's still going. I was like, oh wow.
Okay, I'm getting some ideas for my YouTube edit. I just cut it there. We don't show game 3.
I was like, all right,
So-
switch over, and they were like, no,
So
get
was-
back there. There's a game 3. We're like, oh my god.
So how many Mulans did I play in game 1? Was it 2 or 3? Because I feel like, because I was told I didn't discard to a Mulan, but I swear I discarded the first 2 Mulans. Was there a third one that I just messed up?
I honestly,
I
don't, Luke.
No
I
idea.
don't know what's going on with your camera, but I watch your stream every day, and I never seen your camera so poor. Okay,
Yeah.
it was like choppy. It was like we was like 1 frame a second over on your overhead.
It was fun.
Maybe it
It was fun, my end.
Maybe it was
Yeah, it was fine, man.
through the app, maybe through Pixelborn. We couldn't quite see it, but there was some choppiness there. So it could have been a misframe. I'm fairly confident you did discard. I'm sure Joe would have caught it if you didn't. But still, I thought the game was.
I wouldn't. I would not have noticed. Not at
Joe,
all.
Speci, I'm trying to give you some credit, okay?
In person, I'd like to think I would, but yeah, when like the hand cam's being hid as well, it's kind of harder to track that sort of thing.
Okay.
Oh,
And it's also I know I'm playing against, so it's no drama.
The last one. I'm apparently a dirty.
No
cheater.
worries.
Oh my
Nah,
gosh.
don't worry
I'm
about
like
it.
watching it right now. John sent it to me. I don't even remember this one.
You're
was
speaking to the double inker, mate. Don't worry about it. I'm the double inker. That's what they call me in some parts.
But wait, should I not have won this game if I didn't discard?
Oh no, this is gonna haunt him. So all
No,
right.
wasn't it game 1
It was
that
game.
you?
No, it was in game 2 that I won.
Ooh.
I didn't know that.
I missed it. Uh-oh.
But we
Run it back. Do it again, man. Let's
definitely
start it all
figured
over.
it out.
I will play a third game with you where I'm on the I will replay game 2 if you'd like. Because it was on the turn that I mean, I guess I could have, like, did I use all the removal? Like, I had a strength and Zeus in hand. I tanked for a while, and then I think I sang. Wait, no, this was game 1. I did lose this game. Never mind.
Yeah,
Never
yeah,
mind.
yeah. It was game 1.
I feel a lot better there. I was just
It
like,
was game 1.
I was just like, why?
It was definitely game 1.
I was like, you
It was
cheated,
definitely
you
game
still
1.
didn't win? Oh well. All right. I'm just kidding. I'm joking, Luke. I know this is gonna haunt him forever, and that's why I'm just gonna dig in, just double down a little bit. But again, that's why I admire you as a player, because this is what Luke does. He calls a judge on himself first and always, in every single situation I've ever heard. Even if it messes him up and gets him disqualified, he will call a judge on himself. So I really admire that as a player. So I know this is going to bother him.
You're making me sound all altruistic, but like, if you just look at the nitty gritty, like the logistics of it, the logic of it, if you notice you make a mistake and you call it yourself, you will get in less trouble than if you try to hide your mistake. So you don't even have to look at it like I'm a good person. You could just look at it like I'm not trying to get in trouble. And the best way not to get in trouble is to call the judge on your mistake when it's still a mistake before you turn it into active cheating. Because if you don't call the judge, then you're a cheater.
Fair enough.
Thanks.
Yeah, I've had to call a judge on myself many times as well. Judge, I think I double linked last time.
Oh,
That
no.
was-
That can't feel good.
The worst thing about that, I still need to make my video about that because it was all on camera. I basically double inked on the Saturday. I got cancelled on Reddit, and then the next morning I'm like, right, I'm a new man. Every time I ink, I'm going to leave it face up for the first turn. I spoke to the head judge about it. I was like, look, I messed up yesterday. I'm really sorry, but I've got a new thing I'm going to do. Literally, first game of the day, I'm at 5 ink, and I'm like, wait, how am I at 5 ink? Judge! So bad. And thankfully, I don't think I've done it since. I think I learned my lesson.
You'll never live it down, man. You do it once. And
I still need to make the video.
Okay. You need to make some. You need to come back to Lorcana anyway, man. But we do miss you over here. Put all the other stuff down and come on back into the Quest Challenge and Banish realm. But gentlemen, I do think that match was fantastic, man. And we could talk about this in depth for multiple hours, but I'm sure you have things that you all need to be doing as well. But before we start to wrap the stream up, we want to kind of take some time to discuss the different organizations that you are playing for. We'll start with you, Curley, Joe Speci Curley. Can you just talk about your charity that you're going to be playing for? Because you don't know if you're just tuning in, this is going to be a for charity type event. So please, you want to talk about why you're playing for your cause and what that cause means to you?
Yeah, so I was going to play for the ADHD Foundation, which is a charity I worked with when I was a teacher. They did like brilliant teacher training, but I actually sadly found out that charity no longer exists, which is very sad. So I was kind of in a scramble and wanted to like make sure I did my proper research. But the charity that was in my mind recently was the charity that Bradley was playing for, mind.org.uk. So after he played against Zan, he sort of explained his charity and why he picked it, and I thought it was like a very inspiring thing. So I wanted to support him and go with the same charity that he's gone for, because he's a very good kid. I like him a lot, and yeah, he inspired me, so I wanted to go for that.
Absolutely.
Speci's like, my opponent has ADHD. I am not supporting a charity to help him.
No, you were like, you were mentioning that charity, and I'm like, wait, it helps teachers with ADHD children, like it supports them and enables them to be able to support the children in the classroom that have ADHD.
So that was the charity that no longer exists. They did like teacher training, and basically like I learned so much from like this 2-hour session with them that it was brilliant. But yeah, mind.org is like aimed at mental health and this sort of thing, and I would definitely recommend anyone like go back to listen to what Bradley had to say about it, because it was super inspiring.
Yeah, it was moving. It was some good stuff. And he's wise, like well beyond his years, the way that he put that so eloquently. And it made me look internally and think about my own struggles that I have with those types of things. But I appreciate you, and I appreciate what you're doing in your time and commitment to the LCCC. But Luke, who are you playing for, and what is your cause? If you want to just talk about it,
I'm playing for the Ali Forney Center.
Okay.
It helps keep kids off the streets, basically.
Nice.
At need kids who don't necessarily have a place. LGBTQ kids. There's not a lot of centers for them to be able to go to, and it's one of the few ones in New York. So.
That's awesome, man. I think that's another very great cause, man, because that's showing your heart. I know you got a huge heart. We're talking about that as well, man. And I really want to appreciate you. But I think it might be time to start to wrap the show a little bit to let you guys go about your day. As we start to close the show, we always like to end it with some shout outs. We'll start with you again, Mr. Curley. Anything you want to say, anything you want to plug, anything you need to shout out, the floor is yours.
I would like to shout out Jan Moy for joining Ravensburger, and I'm super happy for him and excited to see what work he does. This was one of the first decks that I built, and I can't annoy Moy in asking his advice on what I should do. But shout out to him.
I'm sure you still can hit him up. I'm sure you still can hit him up. He just hit him up on the DL, man. I'm sure he wouldn't mind giving you some help.
He told me to go away.
Oh dang, that's
I was
rude.
gonna say, I don't. Yeah, I think they're allowed to give general advice, but not any.
Okay.
So yeah, like yeah.
I'm not sure, but
yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right.
But he laughed when I told him I had a burn deck. He says, "I'm sure you built this deck 3 sets ago." It's like, yep. Every time.
Every single time, right?
Is he still upset about the Amethyst Steel issue from the last LCCC? Didn't you make the Amethyst Steel deck that both of you played?
Oh, he's still so salty. He's always salty, though. No, I'm kidding.
What about you, Luke? My good friend and winner, you solidified the victory for the NA team. I was worried for a tie there for a second, but you came out here and got it done. You had to dispatch Speci, and I do appreciate you doing that. No offense, Speci. Okay, this is NA.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Done taken.
This is
Mm-hmm.
bias. Okay, I'm glad
the
you
last
got it done.
turn there.
I was sitting here thinking about JDZ. I was like, you know what? If we don't predict that Luke wins, will we be out of a job, JDZ? I'm just kidding. So, but no, go ahead. Any shout outs and anything that you'd like to say?
Well, I was just going to say during that last game, I might have taken a different line that probably would have caused me to lose. But then I remembered Ed tweeting at me that I was in trouble if I lost. So I locked in, made the right plays, and decided to win.
I didn't see that.
He was just, I was like, oh, pressure, no pressure, no pressure. And he's like, you better win or else. I'm like, oh, all right, gotta lock in. Can't have Ed getting mad at me.
Ed. Yeah, there you go. All right. That's why we do anything in the
obvious,
NA, right? So
exactly. Obviously, big shout outs to the judge staff that's helping here, helping do all the events and DLCs. I think it's Lorcana Rules Hub. I think that's the name of the organization they have on Discord that they're kind of all doing. Shout outs.
It's
there.
a great
Obviously,
Discord.
Shout out to the ICL. Shouting out myself kind of, and Rod and all of you the casters that join with that and do awesome things with that. I guess there's also a thing that we'll probably be announcing later tonight, but it's not fully set in stone, so I'm not going to announce it yet, but that'll be cool for next Sunday. Hopefully don't make plans.
What?
Yeah, Color doesn't even know about it yet.
Okay.
JD does, but Ashley doesn't know.
I swear. All
but
right.
yeah, and if anyone I forgot, sorry. Shout out to my beautiful wife, who I'm about to have to go pick up from work because she doesn't feel good.
Oh.
Nice. Well, gentlemen.
And shout out to your cat.
Oh yeah,
And
your
the cat.
cat.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you guys both for coming through and giving your support to the LCCC. I can't wait to see you guys both play again next round. You're both still alive and well, especially it's only one loss, and you got it pretty early. So I think in the 4 rounds of Swiss, you just saddle up, man, and you can still make a deep run throughout this thing. All right. So, gentlemen,
Just win 3 die rolls. Easy.
We'll let you both go so we can hop back into the commentary booth and close out the show. Take care.
Thank you.
Have fun, guys. Thanks for having us. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. And here it is. All right.
I'm back.
Whew.
Whew. I was like,
Man,
it's not
we
my
made it.
normal computer. I don't know where everything is. I'm not as quick as I usually am.
And we made it though. We made it. We got it done. Okay, that was probably. I'm probably gonna get roasted on this one. Okay, this was Color. This one was a curse. Was a curse. The situation. See the deck list again. Okay, we can show the deck list one more time. We got Curley's deck here. He is ink casting. I think this deck is super cool. I would love to try this myself. I think it is very violently aggressive, and it seemed like it can just absolutely just dumpster some Sapphire deck that's going to be sitting around. And Luke is going to be playing this deck here. I'll have them both up. So you guys see, here's Luke's deck. Luke is playing the Rockstar Stitch deck, and it popped off as well. in this match. So very good stuff by both of these players. I thought it was really nice to see both of them coming through, and they both represented themselves very well. But Color, I think that is going to close out the show. I'm going to have to hop into the editing booth and get this thing cleaned up a little bit for our sake, for the YouTube sake. But as we're doing that, anything that you want to say, any special shout outs from you?
No, I mean, shout out to you and I both, first and foremost for getting through this and dealing with that. I'm sure the edit is going to be amazing, but at the same time, I know we were kind of rocky at first, and then of course both of them were playing aggro decks, so it just gets it's rocky, but there's no time. If this was a control mirror, we would have been locked in already. Yeah. But 2 seconds to get it all done. So shout out to that. Shout out to the LCCC and everything else for trusting us and being able to do this production and everything, and the judges and everybody that just showed up this morning and allowed us to watch some Disney Lorcana between two amazing people. For sure.
But anything else you got? Because we're about to wrap this thing on up. But again, huge shout out to Pavel. Huge shout out to you. Yep. Huge shout out to the players and the judges and staff behind the scenes. It was another incredible LCCC experience. I also pulled this up really fast so you guys can see. The score is going to be 5-3. NA will be leading. Round 2 should be starting sometime next week. I'm not certain when the timeline is going to happen there. I know there's going to be some high profile tournaments happening that next weekend, so it might kind of slow it down a little bit, but it's still going to be an absolute vibe to see. There will be high priority placed on NA versus EU, but there could potentially be some NA versus NA, EU versus EU, depending on how the bracket lines up. So thank you guys all for being here. As always, I'm JDZ. I'm on the quest. Shout out to the real ones. Salute to the OGs, and peace.